I'm actually hoping they're not becoming invisible, because I look at it from the perspective, I'm a nearly 64-year-old woman, and for me, my career is actually has been blossoming. So if I rewind the clock, I began work and started just as a clerical assistant, as you did back in those days. I didn't go to university, though I always had wanted to be a school teacher, so I didn't make that, which is fine. Got married, had 4 children, stay-at-home mum for 17 and odd years, and then just through volunteering, I think I became visible. So I was tapped on the shoulder to begin work in the sporting industry, because I'd been a president of a local basketball association and been on multiple committees. So I was out there doing things, but predominantly for the kids. It was never about me. So that gave me my foot in the door, and as I've progressed with my role in the sporting industry, I think I've become visible. So I think it's more about putting yourself out there and doing something that you absolutely love, that you can thrive on it, rather than becoming invisible. Predominantly because of the role and the sport that I work in. So I work in football, at Football Victoria for soccer, and that's been a very traditional male-dominant sport forever. So women have been excluded, not just from a committee perspective, so from that leadership space, but as players, coaches, referees, administrators, etc. So they were very, very invisible, really regardless of their age. But the older that they got, it's a very cultural specific sport as well. So when we speak about that from that perspective, often their role was at home. So they weren't given an opportunity to become visible. So we do a lot of work in that space and trying to make that change. We have a objective now to reach 50-50 gender equity by 2027, and that's working with a lot of women, middle-aged women, and providing them with confidence, knowing that they know what they're talking about and they know why they're there, but that confidence thing is really, really important for them to get that voice at the table and become visible. Absolutely. I think intersectionality is becoming something that we're more aware of these days, particularly as far as, inclusion is concerned, and it certainly does make a difference regarding your background, your age, your ability, all of that. And there are differences out there of being involved and becoming more prevalent, I think, in whatever role that is, whether it's your working life, your home life, wherever. So yes, intersectionality, we're doing a lot of work in the diversity inclusion space. So we're working with people with disability, people from the GLBTI community, multicultural communities, Aboriginal Torres Strait Islanders, and there are all of those different groups and all of those areas in there that can be a barrier for women. When you have been out of the workforce for such a long time, and technology, as you just said, is changing daily. Even myself working in the workforce for however many years it has been now, things have changed. There's still things I'll actually yell out to the younger ones and say, can you give me a hand in here? And that's okay. And I think that's probably part of the reason of that confidence thing is all about it's okay to say that you still need a hand, but you're still capable of doing that. And I think the younger generation today are really willing. What do we get called? What generation it is, like a baby boomers or whatever it is, and and they say to us, oh, you're just a baby boomer, so they'll step in and help. And I think that's a great thing. And I'm sure these women, from the over 50, they've got those with children, they're willing to help them. And I think that's lovely, because it would be a barrier to stepping foot back into the workforce, though I really believe in volunteering. And if that is a great space to start, if a woman is getting ready to go back to work, volunteer at a local local club, down at the local Lions club, whatever it is, and start to get upskilled through that way. And I think that'll make a world of difference to people. I remember years ago, and I mean, as I said, that's where I started, was being a volunteer as I was a mum at home with our 4 children. And I stepped into that role because I wanted to be a voice on that sporting committee. So I used to say to other young people, because I didn't go to university, and university became a really talked about thing, that you need to have a degree. Well, guess what? And a lot of the job specs actually say, what degree do you hold? Well, I don't hold one, and it's never mattered to me. So I've always told the young people to volunteer and get your skills up then, get your foot in the door. It gives you an understanding of that space. If it's sport, which is my space, gives you a great understanding of sports governance, of competition, of participation and development. There's a whole lot of skills that enable you to get life skills through there. And I would say the same thing for women 50 plus. Go and volunteer. It's a great space not just to learn, but to actually network, have friendship groups, be confident again, and just start to get out there.